Expelled college students of Reddit. Why are you expelled? I went to a private Christian university, and I have a friend who got expelled for supposedly exorcising a demon out of someone in the middle of a wide open courtyard. Wouldn't that technically be a good thing? Maybe it must be done by professional priest. I spent too much time drinking and not going to class. I was a junior with a 1.6 overall GPA. University said they didn't need my ilk around there and would open my spot for someone who would appreciate it. This got my attention. I went to the dean and talked with him for a couple of hours trying to get back in. He said no. 19 out of 20 of you guys go back to doing the same thing. I told him I would be the exception. He gave me another chance. From then on out it was 4.0 every semester. I finally got my GPA up over 2.5 so I could graduate. I made sure and went back to the dean's office to thank him and tell him that I was that 1 out of 20 that made it. Congrats. Also, the dean is a saint. Installing Bitcoin miners on all the computers in a video editing lab. Our professor explicitly warned us not to run Bitcoin miners on our university's high performance cluster as that will get you expelled. I highly suspect someone did exactly that the semester before. For being off campus with a member of the opposite sex without proper supervision. No, seriously. I was making a search engine for our school teacher evaluation page. It absolutely blew up in popularity and a large portion of the school was using it, about 5k views per day. Essentially it was like rate my professors, except it used the evils that they force students to do at the end of the class as data. I also added features that made it more desirable to students. It became so popular that it was showing up on the front page of Google for certain teacher names. Some of those teachers had low ratings and got pissed off and complained. I had unintentionally violated IP laws because the evaluations were under password protections and my site was not. The only reason I didn't get expelled was because the dean of my department had my back. He did research and concluded the information should not have been private in the first place. Then sent a public information request to make it so my project did not break the law. I definitely had people asking for my expulsion for a scary amount of time. My roommate got expelled for basically never going to class, not even when there was an important exam. He spent all night smoking weed with me and playing video games, not with me, and then slept all day until about 5 PM. Like I would wake up, go to my 8:30 lecture, get lunch, go to lab 2 to 5. Then come back to my room and my roommate was still sleeping. I found out the following summer that he had gotten a letter from the university asking him not to come back. Last I heard of him, he had enrolled at a commuter school where he made the dean's list. I had a friend who skipped all classes and failed everything because all he wanted to do was play LOL. He got a warning that if he didn't get his grades up he would be suspended for a year. He got suspended. When he went back to the school a year later the same thing happened again. Now he can't go back to that college again. My freshman class, 2007, was the first to have more dropouts due to OW than to drugs. And it wasn't because drug use was down. Wasn't expelled but damn near. Junior year I took an elective class called Reading Fiction. Cool class but the teacher was extremely strict and took the class very serious. I'm alright at writing papers, and this class involved heavy writing about writing techniques, symbolism, foreshadowing, etc. We were assigned to read a book that I can't remember the name, but I wasn't into it at all. I struggled to finish it and struggled even more to write a detailed paper on it. I slammed out the minimal page requirement and sources needed. It was not my best work, but it was serviceable. I get an email from the teacher a few days later saying he would like me to come into his office hours. He accused me of plagiarizing certain segments of my paper, which I did not, and was ready to send my case to the dean. Apparently some things I sourced in my paper were done incorrectly which lead him to believe I straight copy and pasted from the internet. The second hour of office time was him passive aggressively calling me an idiot. I had a particularly rough semester and got D in a class that I had previously dropped after about a week the prior semester because my schedule was too busy then. Department rules say that you can't attempt a class for credit more than twice, including drops, so I got kicked out of my major. I was 14 hours away from graduation at the time. The academic advisor said that I could either change my major, so basically start college all over, or duck off for a year and then come back on probation. So I guess I'm not expelled per se, but I'm taking an involuntary gap year. Just curious, could you take the class at another school and then transfer the credit when you go back? Now, all of my upper level classes need to be taken at the same place. I went to college right after high school and didn't really have direction as to what I wanted to pursue for a career. I signed up for classes and went because I was told you are supposed to go to college and get a degree. I started to not care about school about 3 to 4 semesters in and stopped putting forth effort. I decided I would rather work my job, drink with friends, and play my favorite video games. My grades tanked. And then I stopped going to finals and failed many courses. My university finally gave me a warning and then dismissed me. I spent a semester off before applying to the local community college down the road to pursue a career as an ENT. I found a passion for medicine and a desire to achieve something more than drugs, video games, and a dead-end job. I repaired my GPA by getting an associate's degree in arts, general AA, and then went back to the university that dismissed me. I eventually would graduate with a bachelor's degree in biochemistry and go on to medical school afterwards, where I would finish that chapter and start my residency training in family medicine. I'm almost done with intern year. I shot a firework out of my ass in a campus-owned house. When I was in college, I got suspended 3 times for bad grades. At one point my GPA was a 1.0. I finally got it together and graduated with a degree in finance, and a few years later went back and got a second bachelor's in accounting. I think my GPA is a 3.2 now. I'm not working in finance or accounting because I can't find a job. I mostly just hate my life now and wish for death. That took a left turn as opposed to a right turn. Of course. Apparently you can get kicked out for not showing up to class and failing everything. Who knew? Obligatory. I'm not an expelled college student, but I knew a guy who got expelled from an Ivy League for getting caught with too much cocaine. He works at California Pizza Kitchen now. Too much? What's the punishment threshold on cocaine there? Was expelled my second semester at a North US school. Think Michigan, Montana, North Dakota. It was my second semester being an older transfer student from the mid-Atlantic. I ended up slipping on ice and fracturing my femur, my humerus, and 2 fingers on ice outside my apartment. I spent 3 weeks in the hospital during that time recovering and doing PT. Finally got home. My apartment was 30 minutes away from campus. Since I couldn't drive, nor did they have cabs I could afford or public transit, ended up failing everything and having to move back home. Only a year later I find out about an office that can help you out with getting tuition back and expunging your record of classes due to medical issues. Had to wait a year to get back in. This year I'm finding myself in the same situation with aplastic anemia, but I only got diagnosed 1 week before my insurance expired. I'm 16 credits from graduation, and I'm stuck with the bureaucratic processes of trying to take classes of the summer. It'll probably take me to mid-July, which means I have to come back in the fall to finish up. I'm about ready to give up. Not me, but a guy who lived on the floor below me my freshman year. Dude was already a nuisance. He got drunk and wandered into town one night. Broke a window on a private residence because he thought it was our door. Got arrested for breaking said window. When the school found out, they told him that if you got into any trouble either with the police or the school's internal justice system, which is actually decent, it's student run, then he would be thrown out. Same goes for getting transported to the local hospital due to excessive drunkenness. Cut to Halloween night, when his roommate found him passed out covered in vomit on the floor of his dorm room. He tested positive for alcohol, marijuana, and cocaine. I'm pretty sure he was kicked out before he got out of the hospital. Personally knew a bright individual that was kicked out of a prestigious university for skipping too many classes. He showed up for the important classes, got A's on all of the tests, but due to the fact that he had missed too many classes, he failed all of them. Must not have read that page of the handbook. He now works at the local grocery store and I see him when I come home on breaks. Edit. 2. College was Princeton. He was on a full ride. A kid who worked at my dining hall got expelled and presumably arrested for breaking into girls' dorm rooms and watching them sleep. He had been doing it for a while because people were noticing their doors were unlocked in the morning. He got caught when he tickled a girl's feet. She woke up and screamed. Her roommate woke up and screamed. We all screamed and I picked up his shifts. Did very well in high school. 4.8 GPA. 4 years JROC. 100 plus hours of community service. Played football for 2 years. Played hockey the last 2 and was named team captain for my senior season of hockey, etc. Earned a 3-year Army ROTC scholarship when my mom died unexpectedly the 5th week of my freshman year. Got back to school after being home for 2.5 weeks and none of my professors gave a shit except my ROTC cadre. Failed every class except ROTC and French. Got a D. But D's get degrees right, and during my academic hearing after the first semester they literally laughed at me when I told them the reason for my poor performance was that the 2.5 weeks I missed due to my mum's passing. After I wasn't able to raise my GPA to a 2.0 after the second semester, which was my fault. Lacked a will to be there, and was pretty depressed. I was expelled, lost my scholarship, and couldn't talk to my mom about it. Duck private colleges. Wasted 20k plus there. Edit. Thanks for all the positivity. It gives me the feely feel. And I'm doing great now for all of those who are wondering. Currently set to leave for the Air Force May 23rd, and I'm going to get my degree through the Air Force. Looking back I wish I would have taken that semester off, but hey, what can you do? One thing I learned from this is that no matter how messed up your situation may be, some people or institutions just won't give a shit. While a parent passing is a valid excuse, I feel you can't let anything get in the way of your dreams. As my odd friend Shia once said, just do it. What the duck kind of ass backwards school won't let you take a semester off after the passing of a parent? Duck that school. My niece was expelled for fighting off a coked up hockey player. He was an ex-boyfriend, and she's known him for years. He invited her to his off-campus house, where she found him coked up, drunk and stoned, and wanted to leave. He said no, blocked her from leaving a room, threw her into a mirror. She punched him in the nose, a D1 hockey player, and ran to campus security. While filing a statement with campus security, the local PD arrested her and refused to allow her to press charges. They do not do counter charges. Because he's an athlete, he is bound to Title IX. Had he been in any way responsible, he would have been suspended from the NCAA. Solution: suspend the woman. If you have an actual legal issue, never call campus security. Always call the police. Security protects the university, not the students. Not me, but my best friend in college was expelled. He became a nasty drunk and threw a brick through his ex-girlfriend's window. His rich parents bailed him out and got him into the college that they worked for. Years later, he is sober and recently got married. He's probably still a duck nozzle though. Lol, this thread would show up right before an exam I'm about to fail. Not me, but happened to a teammate on my rowing team. He got busted for drinking, which isn't an expellable offense. But to get back at the rat that caught him, he shit into a bag, went to the guy's first floor window, and threw it into the rav's room. What made things worse is that the rat had a box fan in the window. The shit hit it and sprayed everywhere in the room. Literally, the shit hit the fan. He was promptly expelled. How did they know it was him? Oh yeah, this smells exactly like Jimmy's asshole. It must be his shit. Or was he such a dumbass that he did it the next day? He did it that same night. So the rat pretty much knew who the shit sprayer was. Also, his buddy dimmed him out when confronted. This is not my story. It's the story of a classmate. We will nickname him the Idiot. The Idiot was the top student in my promo in journalism school. This was a good school, known to create good journalists. This was because we had 4 mandatory internships in 4 different medias. The school already have partnership with said medias and choose the internship for you based on your preferences, your skills and your results. The Idiot got the best internship there was at my country most important newspaper. Think something like the New York Times. 3 weeks into it, the Idiot is caught for plagiarism. He is fired from the internship and immediately expelled from the school. In shame. Hey, thanks for watching and don't forget to subscribe.